Bowers Game Corner presents Gencon Video Bonanza 2015. Brought to you by Gatekeeper Games, makers of The King's Armory, Thunder Track, the new sequel to Turbo Rally Card Racing, and the generous support of our Kickstarter backers.
Right. Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for more of our Gen Con Bonanza blowout coverage, and I am very excited because we're about to talk with Isaac from Cephalofair Games about his upcoming Kickstarter, Gloomhaven. So what is Gloomhaven, Isaac?
Gloomhaven is a cooperative dungeon crawler game with a sort of persistent legacy aspect to it. Or actually, I don't know if I can use the word legacy, but, you know, persistent campaign style where you've got characters running through a dungeon, killing monsters, and then they're going to be leveling up, gathering loot, buying items, all that cool sort of stuff. The actual gameplay, though, is almost sort of Euro-driven, just in the sense that you've got a lot of choices, you've got a lot of interesting stuff going on. There are no dice, you know, it's all card-driven, and let's see here. Right, so every round, you're going to be playing 2 cards from your hand, and there's like an initiative value on the cards, and so once everybody has played the 2 cards from their hand, they're going to sort of go around in initiative action, initiative order to perform their actions, and the monsters are also going to have an initiative value that you've got to deal with. And so you may be thinking you're going first, and then you end up going last because people are going before you. Your plans may change, but the good thing is your cards that you're playing have 2 abilities on them on each side, and so you're going to want to do the top action of one card and the bottom action of the other card. But because you're playing 2 cards, you can sort of swap them out and do one or the other, and so that sort of gives you more options on what you can do when you're playing, right? So so you may change your mind in the middle of combat, and that sort of almost simulates sort of the chaos of combat. So the card itself has a bit of like thematic element to it. So when you play it, like you're still, it's like, oh, I can move or I can do something else, I don't know if I'm explaining it very well.
Absolutely. So I'm noticing that there's different characters down here. So I'm assuming maybe asymmetrical powers. Everybody's doing a little bit of things different.
Absolutely. So you have 4 starting characters, and they all have their own set of ability cards, and they all play very differently from each other. And so there's not actually a lot of information that's on your character mat. It's just sort of a round overview. All the intricacies of your class are in the cards themselves. So you got the Brute, who's sort of the big tank, upfront damage dealer. So he's just going to run in there, like push people around and chop their heads off sort of thing. You've got the Tinkerer, who's sort of like a background sort of healer, and he's like throws bombs and stuff, makes like little contraptions that sort of run out and do their own thing. You got the Spellweaver, who, sort of like a mage, like just a big area effect damage dealer. And he blows through his cards really quickly, but then he can recover them all to do them all again. And then the Scoundrel, sort of like an opportunistic damage dealer. All right, so it's you got the co-op. It's fully co-op, and so obviously you need some sort of tension in the game. You can't just have the players just sort of sit around and do nothing for turns on end. So there's like a timer in the game that is tied specifically to the cards themselves. So as you play your cards, you're going to be losing some of them to like a different pile. If it's like a superpowered attack, you're going to lose one, or most of them are probably going to go in your discard pile. But then you're going to eventually run out of cards, and you got to rest to get your discard pile back in your hand, but you're going to lose a card from your discard pile when you do that. So over time, you're going to be losing more and more cards from your hands, and you're going to have to be resting more and more frequently because you got fewer cards, until eventually you just sort of run out of cards and fall over and get exhausted. So the whole point of the game is to get through that scenario before you run out of cards and get exhausted. That's the tension of the game. Every round you got to be playing these 2 cards, so you're constantly like marching towards exhaustion. So you only have a limited amount of time.
All right. So player count, time length, all that good stuff.
So it's 2 to 4 players. I mean, you could probably play it solo, but you're gonna want to play like 2 separate characters at the same time. I mean, it's co-op, so I mean, any co-op you could probably play by yourself if you really wanted to. But yeah, it's up to 4 players. And it plays in about like a half an hour per player per scenario. And then you've also got a lot of other cool like overarching campaign elements to it as well. So, when you start your character, you're going to get a career goal. And so you go out as a party, and everybody has their own sort of individual goal that's going to be like a character hook for them. They want to, like their whole family was killed by monsters and they want to go out and get revenge. And so they've got a specific goal they want, like kill 20 of this type of monster. And that's going to take like many scenarios to actually complete. So you're going to play through this campaign, but eventually you're going to complete that goal. And when you do that, that character's going to retire. And you unlock a new character class, and then you can put your old character back in the box and start up a new one. So you get a lot more variety, So you got comfortable with this class, now try something new.
Okay. And a little rapid fire here. I know it's coming to Kickstarter. First and foremost, this is not your first foray into Kickstarter, correct? You've done another big box game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Forge War was kickstarted last June and came out for retail back in April of this year.
Not a bad time.
And I had a great reception. A lot of people really loved the game. And I really love the game, but that's more like a economic Euro. So this is sort of like wildly different. Like it's people are always like, why, what? This is how did you do this? Why is this so different from the other thing?
Range.
Yeah, it's just like I love playing all types of games. So I love playing the deep economic Euro game, but I also love playing the tactical combat game. It's just I find a lot of tactical combat games just sort of be like too random. Almost like a little boring. You're just like moving and attacking, and I find there's a lot more, active decision making and less randomness in this game.
And so, what is going to be the base price point? Do you know that for the Kickstarter yet?
I don't know that for the Kickstarter yet. I'm still looking at prices from the manufacturer, and I'm still trying to figure out like an actual card count because a lot of the content I'm still creating. So you have multiple different character classes, and I want to add or include like at least 50 different scenarios in the box. And so I got to sort of settle in on a number of cards, and then I can sort of work on a price point. But I haven't done that yet. That's what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks.
We'll say under $700. Sound fair?
Yeah, that's $700.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now this is launching in September, correct? And where can we steer people if they're interested in Forge War or possibly in learning more about Gloomhaven, maybe getting on your email list or however you do that?
Yeah, sure. My website is cephalofair.com, which is a little hard to spell, but CEPHALO fair.
We'll post the Kickstarter. We'll post the link down below.
Yeah, sure. And obviously BGG. You got game pages for both of those games, and there's a lot of information on both those. Lots of cool artwork on the BGG page for this game. I'm really excited about like the artwork and also the miniatures and the graphic design. I'm working with a bunch of awesome people on this, and I think it really shows. I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
Fantastic, guys. That is Gloomhaven from Cephalofair Games. If it looks like it might be something that interests you, be sure to check out the Kickstarter when it does launch, or check out their website right now when this video goes up. If you're enjoying this Gen Con coverage, please be sure to click on our awesome sponsors down below, and of course, check out the subscribe button down below. In the comments below, let me know, what would you do if you were a dwarf? Because not all dwarves can be awesome, carrying battle axes and doing cool stuff like that. There had to have been like dwarves that were like janitors and stuff. So what would be your least favorite dwarf job? I think I would really not like to be... I wouldn't like to be a bank teller because you have like your hands above it and it'd just be terrible. And yeah, I wouldn't want to be a bank teller dwarf. But what wouldn't you like to be? As always, thanks for your time, YouTube.
Bowers Game Corner presents Gencon Video Bonanza 2015. Brought to you by Gatekeeper Games, makers of the King's Armory, Thunder Track, the new sequel to Turbo Rally Kart Racing, and the generosity of these great companies. They support us, go support them.